Okay, so I'm going to make this into a grid so I can see more of the people. Hi! Hey, everybody. Hang on one sec. I'm trying to get the password because Jack Foley can't get in. Okay, hang on. Bird. Hey, Casey. Oh my God, all these lovely people. Oh my God, this is awesome. Okay, hang on.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll get started in just a minute here.
Right. Sorry, I'm just getting the info for Jack Foley because okay. Okay, sorry. Thanks for your patience, everybody. I'm just making sure that everybody's in. Okay, so Baruch also is having trouble getting in, so sorry. Sorry, everybody's emailing me all of a sudden. Hey, so for everybody who's joining us right now, we're going to start in like 1 or 2 minutes, and just please hang in there. And thank you so much for being here. And it's so good to see all of you. There's a lot of people here who I haven't seen in ages, and it's just lovely to see all of you. And it's just so awesome. Okay, great. Sec. Sorry, just getting ready because everybody's asking me questions. Aaliyah, do we have Jack Foley yet? Is he here yet? I don't see him. Okay. Well, hopefully he will be here soon. Shoot. Shoot, sorry. Hang on one second, you guys. Everybody is having a hard time getting into the meeting for some reason. And okay. Okay, hi. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. I'm so glad to see you all here. This is just such a wonderful audience, and I'm just so incredibly grateful that you could all be here tonight on a Friday evening. There are so many other Zooms and meets and hangouts and other events that you could be at tonight, and I'm just so glad that you chose to join us. It's such a thrill to have you all here with us. And, you know, I'm just So I will talk for like 30 seconds and then I'm going to introduce our first poet because we want to just keep it moving. This event is part of a series called We Love Bookstores, which is fundraisers for local San Francisco Bay Area bookstores. We've been raising for money for bookstores in the South Bay, the North Bay, the East Bay. Thus far, we've raised over $50,000 for local bookstores. And you know, bookstores are really special places. They're places of resistance. They're refuges. They're places where we can educate ourselves. They're places where we can learn about the world. And I've just been so grateful for everything that bookstores have done for me and how they've expanded my mind, especially right now during a time when we all really need to be expanding our minds and learning more about the world because it's, you know, we're running out of time to fix a lot of structural systemic problems. Alia, can you unmute Nazila while I read her bio? So our first reader tonight, I'm just going to jump right into it because I know you're all really excited and I'm super excited. Our first reader tonight is Nazila Jameson. Nazila Jameson is a performance poet, actor, vocalist, and MC. She is an East Coast transplant, former organizer of the Oakland Poetry Slam, and sometimes reluctant superhero. Nazila's first book of poetry, Evolutionary Heart, was released in fall 2016 on Nomadic Press, and Nazila gives the best hugs in the Bay Area. It's so true. Anyway, please welcome Nazila Jameson.
Hello. Can you all hear me? That's always the question on these. I don't ever have to ask this question at a live event, but just making sure. How are you? Are you good? As good as can be at your house? Awesome. So I have 2 poems for you, both of them having to do with current events. So this first poem is called Cannibal. In church, we ate God every first Sunday, or rather, we ate the body of his son, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, washed him down with grape flavored blood, went home in the afternoon and chewed upon the actual flesh of the dead unholy. I grew up country poor. We only shopped in grocery stores for canned tornado food and milk. Our farmer relatives fed us. Spent late summer snapping beans and shelling peas for freezing. The first days of after school cleaning freshly run chickens. By spring, we were usually down to hog's head cheese and stack sandwiches. By summer, dinner was grits and fried canned tomatoes. When I was 7, I once had a pet chicken. It was then that I learned the meaning of life. When I came home from school and she was silently on my plate, her cage and my belly were both empty. Hunger eclipsed my righteous indignation. God is great. God is good. Let us thank him for this food. Vegetarianism is a religion proselytized by city-dwelling atheists and rich folk. It is an elite Western ideology, attractive to those with no immediate fear of starvation, consumers of billboards and articles and philosophies, drinkers of smug self-righteousness, to wash down the multivitamins when the rice cakes were not enough. Humans at their basest eat what is edible. Country Christians eat by the Bible. Jesus gave the people fish, invited us to eat his flesh, basically said, fill your belly with what I have availed to you. I am no longer Christian, but I eat what is available to me. My hunger eclipses your politics. Perhaps I'm wrong. Maybe my country grandmothers and aunties lived to their late 90s in spite of hog maws and pig knuckle sandwiches. And Mother Earth would prefer if we set domesticated food animals free to overpopulate and die from mass starvation. What I do know, though, is PETA protesters are made of meat. When this earth inevitably transitions, when crops dry up and blow away, when the last animals have gone to slaughter due to famine and waste, when there are no more chickens, there will be vegetarians. I will fill my belly with what is available to me. Hunger eclipses everything and transforms saints into saviors. Thank you. So that was poem number 1. And poem number 2. I've been really moved by the current events of late. The motivations for the protests and the protests themselves and just being Black in America. And so this poem is inspired by that. Close your eyes. It is 1843, nighttime in the summer woods. Pungent aroma of green moss fills your nostrils, twigs and mushrooms beneath your feet. You hug the cool bark of a sycamore tree. Birds trill, frogs belch, water's rushing, dogs are barking. Run, they comin'. Open your eyes. It is 1869. Who dat coming up the road? Well-dressed man looking mighty fine. What's that you say, we free? I'm big with child, I can't leave. Cotton to pick, washing to do. Plus, Missus been mighty good to me. Freedom seemed like a brand new dress I can't fit nor afford. These rags are worn, but they're comfortable, and I ain't got traveling shoes. Here come Missus, you better run. Close your eyes. It is 1921. It is warm in the house. It is warm in the closet as the house burns around you. In the distance are the agonized screams of neighbors, family, friends, and other uppity niggers who tried to be somebody. Planes fly overhead. Bombs drop on your world. Mad white folks have turned your reality into nightmare Armageddon. Your daddy went to the courthouse this morning to see about that boy they say started all this. He ain't never coming back. Nothing is ever coming back. Mama said, pray, don't cry, so you bow your head, because you can't run. Open your eyes. It is 1955. You were happy that late summer day, whistling down the wrong street. Death was a facetious white lady. You were 14. The mob was merciless. Now you are the poster child for violent, relentless, racist retribution. Baby, you didn't run fast enough. Close your eyes. It is 1968. They have a rope, old and dirty and frayed and strong. The box they balanced you on, unstable beneath your calloused soles. The people are having a picnic. Fried chicken as greasy as their smiles. You always wanted to be on a stage. Now you are the main attraction. And as they place the final choker around your neck, your savior is killed at a Memphis hotel. There is nowhere to run. Open your eyes. It is 1999. You are an African immigrant in America trying to make your mother proud, just trying to get home. 41 bullets later, you couldn't run. Close your eyes. It is 2009. You are on your way to celebrate New Year's Eve. You were handcuffed, prone, and shot in the back before you could run. Open your eyes. It is 2012. You loved Skittles and your girlfriend. You never saw him coming. You tried to fight instead of run. Close your eyes. It is 2014. You are 12 years old in a public park just playing with the water gun. You never saw it coming, so you never started running. Open your eyes. It is 2015. You were just trying to get home. Who knew it was fatal to smoke a cigarette at a traffic stop? Close your eyes. It is 2020. You were exhausted from saving lives at 2 hospitals during a pandemic. Your boyfriend made you dinner. You went to bed early. You were dreaming of another day. You didn't have another day. Unannounced bullets granted you eternal rest. You would never have had a chance to run. Open your eyes. It is 2020. You are running for health, for life, for your life. Behind you, a pickup truck clocks your every move. Ahead of you, a pickup truck is waiting, citizens with guns cocked just for you. They will not let you keep running. You stop to lose a fight for your life. Close your eyes. It is 2020. You have died face down in handcuffs with hate's knee on your neck in front of the entire world. The entire world has responded. It is any year. America, you are Black, doing anything, anywhere. You are done running. It is 2020. Open your eyes. Thank you.
God,
Thank you so much for having me.
that was so powerful. Oh my God. Thank you, Nazila. Give it up one more time for Nazila Jameson. That was so amazing. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Thank you for joining us. I know Nazila has another event to do tonight too, because it just doesn't stop, but I'm so glad you could join us. Next up, we're incredibly just fortunate and thrilled to have Jack Foley and Sangi Land. And so Jack Foley has published 16 books of poetry, 5 books of criticism, a book of stories, and a 1,300-page chrono encyclopedia called Visions and Affiliations, California Poetry, 1940 to 2005. He became well known through his multi-voice performances with his late wife Adele, and he currently performs with his new life partner Sang-Yi Land. He has presented poetry on KPFA since 1988 and has received 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards. A new book of poetry, When Sleep Comes, Chilly Last Songs, has just appeared. And a book about his book, Visions and Affiliations, has just come out, Unmanageable Masterpiece. He will be reading with Sang-Yi Land, his life partner, who has helped to edit manuscripts by her mother, poet Julie Rogers. And she lived with her mother and stepfather, David Meltzer, during the final year of his life. And so please give it up for Jack Foley and Sang-Yi Land. And can we make sure that they're unmuted?
Hello, hello. Can you see us?
Um,
Can you see us? Yes?
Yes, we can see you.
yes. Yes,
Okay.
we can see you.
And
Yeah, both of us. Both of us. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for telling me because I wasn't sure. And you can hear us as well. Okay, so why don't we begin to read? All right. We're going to start with a poem. We're going to do 3 poems. One of them is a duet, and the other two are solos. The duet is for Walden Pond Books. Now, I know we're not advertising Walden Pond Books on this particular program, but it's really about bookstores. And I wrote this, and I was actually asked to read this. So we're going to do this one for Walden Pond Books. There's a bookstore in Oakland that ought to live forever.
It honors diversity, imagination, intelligence, real books sold by real people in a real place.
It has been in Oakland for longer than I have, and I've been in Oakland since 1846.
It doesn't need readers, it has readers.
It needs only money, filthy lucre, so the young who have never walked down aisles where there is nothing but books,
Who have never stopped and picked an interesting book off a shelf the way a leaf might be picked off a tree.
who have never known how to buy a book except by pushing a button in a land called Amazon.
Who have never breathed the scent of many books in a room together.
And bumped against others who are looking too.
Who do not know that library means place for books, and that the word goes back to liber, to the notion of the inner bark of trees.
Which I have always believed was connected to the word liberty.
Who perhaps have never read what Milton at the dawn of print said about books.
Books are not absolutely dead things, but do contain a potency of life in them to be as active as that soul whose progeny they are. Nay, they do preserve as in a vial the purest efficacy and extraction of that living intellect that bred them, as good almost kill a man as kill a good book. As good almost kill a man as kill a good bookstore.
As good almost kill a man as kill a good bookstore.
Donate. That's our poem for Walden Pond Books. Now, thank you. The next 2 poems I'm going to read are about the great poet Michael McClure, who was someone I knew and who was a wonderful man and a wonderful poet. The first is an elegy for Michael. It's called The King, the Prince, the Poet, from Michael McClure, October 20th, 1932 to May 4th, 2020. The prince is dead, defender of Wales. It didn't seem possible. The great one who read his work at the most famous of all San Francisco readings, Six Gallery, 1955. The one who voiced his poems to the marvelous melodies of Ray Manzarek, from whom Janis Joplin stole a song. The one who told me people who wear black are in mourning for themselves. The king is dead, the one who survived everything and lived to sing of it. The one who spoke Chaucer in the original so that people might know where our language came from. The king, the prince, the poet who rose from Wichita and embodied San Francisco, Who called to the birds near his home? Who answered? We were making, he told me, the myth of ourselves. He survived so much, it seemed likely that death would make an exception in his case. No, he did not have coronavirus. But this wonderful man is gone from us. His angel weeps. Her name is Amy, and she will forever be his love, his partner, though there was another who loved him too. Dear angel, whose wings will have to fly in a different way to find him now. I love them both and learned from them. She survives to build a world around herself in which Michael forever is and isn't, while she goes on. May she fly as she always has, with sweet, compassionate dignity. May her delicate hands build figures, embodiments that live forever, as Michael's words will live forever. There is a world that does not die. The muses weep. Elegy. The animals are clamoring, the deer, the hawks circling, the squirrels, all the inhabitants of the zoo, the lions in the San Francisco Zoo, they're all making noises. The monkeys howl, dogs and cats in the streets, the incredible coyotes strolling in the city, the fish, the whales, even the tiny things, the ants, the bugs, mosquitoes, everything, even the living trees that bend to the wind near the water, the ocean, the sand, the monkeys, they are all muttering or crying or howling outright, and the animals that are people, the mammal nation. All these creatures know. They clamor, they complain in the old sense that the poet McClure is gone, though they cannot tell you where. It's my memorial for Michael. I'm going to read one more poem. This is for Amy, and probably the people who are watching this may know that the word grar is a Michael McClure word. He made it up in a group of poems he called Beast Language, and that was the one that stuck. He even used it for his email, and which was great. And of course, the word swirl, it's another Michael McClure word. There are certain words that haunt many writers. There's certainly certain words that haunted Michael. Swirl and grar were among them. Oh, this, perhaps you can see it. The form of the poem is like a Michael McClure poem. It's the same form as what Michael would have used. Song for Amy Evans McClure. I've been to the city of grief, know its cunning streets and alleys, know its light and shade, know how the buildings crowd upon one another so that even the sky in broad daylight is empty. Been to Chez Tristesse, its central restaurant, and eaten hors d'oeuvres of the dead. Felt the swirl of its people as they move, half seen at dusk and morning. Know the odors that arise everywhere, reminiscent. The bakery that makes cakes for the dead. The bar that serves tears for the great loved achievers in life who touched our eyes. Everything here says goodbye, goodbye. Roar. That's our presentation. Thank you, Charlie. Good luck with the fundraising.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my God, that was so wonderful. Thank you. Another round of applause, please, for Jack Foley and Sangi Land. Oh my gosh. So I'm just going to keep it moving because there's just so much excitement. Next up, we're incredibly just so lucky to have Deborah Major, who's one of my favorite poets who I haven't heard read in years. So this is just such a thrill. And I'm just going to read her bio. Born and raised in California, Deborah Major served as San Francisco's third poet laureate And in 2019, she toured southern Italy and Sardinia, where her 6th book of poetry, With Open Arms, was released in a bilingual edition. Her 7th book of poetry, Califia's Daughter, will be published by Antiquarius Books / Willow Press Editor's Choice in July 2020. Her other 5 poetry books are And Then We Became, With More Than Tongue, Where River Meets Ocean, Street Smarts, which won the Penn Oakland Josephine Miles Literary Excellence Award, and Traveling Women with Opal Palmer, Adisa Miss Major. Was a member of the Daughters of Yam, a poetry and jazz performance duo. In 2015, Deborah Major premiered her poetry play Classic Black, Voices of 19th Century African Americans in San Francisco at the San Francisco International Arts Festival. And she has been a participant in international art poetry festivals all over the world. She teaches part-time at the California College of Arts. Please, please, please give it up and give a warm welcome to Deborah Major.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to start sending in shorter bios. Thank you. Okay, so I have 4 poems. I tried to kind of do an emotional spectrum. I thought I would start with somebody for something for people who want to dance and party and cocktail. It's a poem to James Brown. James Brown, you could take the growl, take the howl, turn it, twist it, pump it, shake the drums, push the horns, fire up the cymbals, and make African winds blow across the waters, climb mountainsides. You could reach up into the heavens, good Lord, and storm back down again to make us scream with you, grunt and groan and sweat, baby, 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 baby. We heard you, James Brown. Roll your gospel heart into R&B. You would exhale your wail, layer your squalls and grunts, weave your tales of love and sweat and power and revelations into a polyrhythmic prism of fire and funk until we would be the one pleading, please, please, please. As you came back strong, did another turn, split to the floor, jumped back up and screamed for the drummer to come along, because you had the feeling and you were the song. All the while our hips never stopped turning and our feet kept sliding across the floor while you made us sweat, made us do like you said. Give the drummer 1, give the drummer some, 1, 2, give the drummer some, 1, 2, 3, 4, and take a measure for ourselves. We were busy polishing the floor when you'd snatch it back up and do a split turn and scream out for more, because you could make us spell hard and work 50 different ways, shining brown and gold, flashing red capes, calling it a man's world, then crumbling to the floor while we women smiled, knowing it was always more than that. Polished obsidian was you, James Brown. Hard, rich, thick, deep, hurtin', lovin' was you, James Brown. Feeling good, so good, and making us feel good too. Because when Papa got a brand new bag, we got new kicks. Knees and elbows flapping funky because you were super bad. You split gospel soul funky truth into the earth of every continent. Touched souls on either sides of 2 centuries, great grands through babies. Still raising fists, singing it loud, reminding each other we black and we proud. So me, when I think about you, James Brown, all I can do is try and get on the good foot. Say all I can do when I turn my mind and heart to you, James Brown, is think about the good things. And thank you. From that to a short one for COVID. I've been writing little COVID poems. This is called COVID Distances. Hugs are a greeting of acceptance and humanity. Hugs are a parting with good wishes for tomorrow. Hugs for old friends, loved ones, souls I honor, appreciators of my spirit. Sheltered in place, electronics deliver a semblance of companionship. There is no grandchild embrace. Ringtone conversations punctuate hours of my days. There is no daughter touch. Hugs replaced with the crown-shaped virus shooting out spikes. There is no friend caress. Instead, a heated virus armed at the lungs, limiting breath, at times extinguishing hearts. It flashes its warnings. No touch allowed, no closeness, no hugs. Speak from behind a mask. Stay back. Turn from strangers, not fleetingly to acquaintances. Do not, whatever you do, do not hug. I wrap my arms around myself. Remember, I like to hug. Mm. This might be too long, so I'm going to do this one. And with this one, this is a poem of now. Some of it sad, some of it for the good that this may bring to the down pressers. And I started with from the Bob Marley song, "Woe to the down pressers, they'll eat the bread of sorrow." You walked on our bones for centuries until they turned to sand that you poured into sandboxes so that your children could build sand castles. And when the sand became translucent, filled with the sun's colors, its brightness burning your eyes, you found more to sacrifice, letting vultures strip away our skin and building ladders formed from our ribs, limbs, and skulls that you climbed with shielded eyes to get a better view of the lands you planned to conquer. And now, at services for each new martyr, gospel songs bleed with tears out the sanctuary doors, and you hear not just the bitter sweetness, but a warning. We are rising up. We are joined by some of your children and your grandchildren who have eaten of shame and drank of truth and refused to travel on the rails you laid with our bones, our parents' bones, our children's bones. Yes, you have yes, you have fed on our flesh, lauded the delicacy of our open hearts, savored the tartness of our keen eyes, but the universe we live in calls for constant change. Earthquakes birth new mountains, thunderstorms reshape those mountains, and now we rise. Out of coffins where you thought us buried, out of prisons where you thought us caged, out of colleges where you thought us sedated, out of careers where you thought us bound, out of tenements where you thought us trapped, we rise. Even those of us who struggle to decipher your scrawled script can read the winds and know the stars and bring the fury and righteousness to your table. And each of you who blocks our path, who would press us back, will be blinded by our brilliance. And if your hearts do not grow, your bones will become refuse that we remove from our way and bury beneath the bramble bushes which you will fertilize for millennia. I thank you.
Was that your last poem? Oh my gosh, that was, no, so what?
Yeah, that was my last one. I wanted.
Okay, wow, thank you so much. Please give a warm welcome, warm round of applause, sorry, Friday night. Give a warm round of applause to Deborah Major. Please give it up, keep it going. So incredibly thrilled you could be here. So I was, sorry, a little distracted because I don't think our next poet has joined us. Alejandro Morgoya was supposed to dial in and I don't see him here. So hopefully he'll show up soon. I'm really sorry about that. He said he was going to dial in around 5:30, so fingers crossed. Hopefully he'll be here soon. In the meanwhile, we're super thrilled to have Michael Weir here. Michael Weir is the poetry editor of this amazing book. Well, you can't see it because of my virtual, there we go, of Poetry and Protest, From Emmett Till to Trayvon Martin. It's an incredible book that's been just like rocking my world lately. It's been such a huge source of insight and inspiration to me lately. And I'm hoping that, you know, maybe he'll talk about it a little bit. He also, his other books are The Armageddon of Funk, We Are All the Black Boy, and Power Lines, a decade of poetry from Chicago's Guild Complex. In 2017, Michael was named a San Francisco Library Laureate. Other honors include a Creative Work Fund for his multimedia projects, Tracing Poetic Memory in Bayview Hunters Point, a PEN Oakland Josephine Miles Award for Excellence in Literature, Black Caucus of the American Library Association Award, Gwendolyn Brooks Significant Illinois Poets Award, and a National Endowment for the Arts Fellowship. Michael Weir's poetry is translated into Mandarin as part of his 2 languages, 1 community project in collaboration with poet and translator Chun Yu. Michael Warr is also the Deputy Director of the Museum of African Diaspora and a board member of the Friends of the San Francisco Public Library. Please, please, please give it up for Michael Warr. Woo!
Thank you, Charlie. It's so great to be here and hearing these wonderful poets. One correction, I'm the former Deputy Director of the Museum of the African Diaspora, where everybody should go, by the way. If you haven't been there, you need to get that on your things you need to do in life. I'm going to start with a poem that's about police killings of the unarmed, that I have been adding names to this poem since 2018. And it would take me 10 minutes to read the entire poem, so I'm just going to read portions of it. It's called What Not to Do, and please keep that in mind as I read it. What Not to Do, an unfinished poem as of today. Breathe, Eric Garner, choked. Sell, Lucy's. Resist, to death. Stare, Lamont Hunt, shot, back of head. Make, Akel Gurley, a jarring sound, shot, accidentally. Stand, Amadou Diallo, in vestibule after walking. Carry, wallet. Loiter, shot. Look, out of place, 41 fired. Act, suspicious, 19 bullets. Walk, Terrence Crutcher, hands in air. Appear, intoxicated. Have, a very hollow look, shot in back. Drive, Samuel Dubose without license plate, shot in head. Drive, LeVar Jones without seatbelt. Reach for driver's license, shot. Drive, Sean Reed while live streaming. Run, shot while streaming. Drive, Walter Scott with broken tail light, shot in back. Reversed, Deontay Yarber suddenly behind Will, 30 bullets fired, 10 kill. Park, Tanya Haggerty on side of road. Talk, on cell on side of road. Shot, on side of road. Drive, Philando Castile with broken brake lights. Tell, you have a gun. Shout, not reaching for a gun. Shot, 5 bullets, 2 to heart. Sit, Donta Dawson quietly in car, engine idling. Raise, left hand abruptly, shot in eye. Evade, Michael Dean, shot in temple at traffic light. Crawl, Daniel Shaver toward officers as instructed. Pull loose gym shorts too suddenly. Beg not to be shot, shot anyway. Approach, Oscar Grant, the police. Beg not to shoot. Kneel, shot anyway, in back. Fail, Sandra Bland to signal, too uppity. Arrested, found hanging in cell. Carry, Tamir Rice, toy gun, shot near navel. Carry, Cameron Tillman, phone in the dark, BB gun in hand, shot with real bullets. Carry, Romaine Brisbane, prescription bottle, shot 2 bullets to torso. Carry, Laquan McDonald, knife in the middle of the road, shot 16 bullets. Carry, Sean Medeiros, hammer, shot 5 bullets fired, 1 in back. Carry, Miles Hall, a 5-foot metal gardening tool. Behave erratically. Have schizoaddictive disorder, shot. Carry, Steve DeMarco Taylor, baseball bat, shot. Have a manic episode, shot at Walmart. Not carry, Keith Lamont Scott, a gun when told to drop it. B, Mike Brown Jr., too large, same height as shooter, shot 6 bullets, 2 to head. B, John Crawford, and B, John Crawford, an imminent threat. Shop, carry Walmart air rifle, shot. B, Tony McCade, a suspect, shot. B, Terrence Franklin, a suspect, shot. 5 bullets to head. Talk on cell phone while shopping, shot with real bullets. Pose, Ezell Ford, an immediate threat, shot while schizophrenic. Display, Manuel Loggins Jr., a mean expression, shot in front of daughters. Call, Kalina Lyles, the police, while mentally ill, shot, 7 bullets. Shout, not reaching for gun, 5 bullets, 2 to heart. Let me just make sure I'm on the right page here. Thank you. Fit, Jordan Baker, the description, shot. Flee, Freddie Gray, unprovoked, spine severed in custody. Run, Stephen Clark through grandmother's yard, shot, 20 bullets, fired, 6 in back. Run, Walter Scott, shot in back. Jog, Ahmaud Arbery, shot, 2 shotgun bullets while chased. Play, Atiana Jefferson, Call of Duty in bedroom, 8-year-old Zion watching, shot. Sleep, Ayanna Jones, 1 bullet to 7-year-old head on couch. Sleep, Breonna Taylor, shot, 8 bullets in bed. Breathe. This next poem I wrote it's a rant that's in response to the violence against the Asian community during the COVID-19 crisis, which these attacks have been kind of flames fanned by our president. And if you search to your assailant and my name with that title, the video will pop up that was shot for this poem. It's also on the website of the Chinese Culture Center of San Francisco. It's called To Your Assailant Who Attacks Us All, a Rant in Progress. Do you call yourself God-fearing, devoted to do unto others? Does your God condone your violence, your ignorance, your corruption? Does your God hate your neighbor like you do? Does your God share your love for profits, bearing false witness, fueling your grievance fever? Do you swallow the lies they regurgitate? Do you really need a reason? Are you truly a true believer of both God and golden calf? Does the all-knowing know you? Do they love you as you are? Does it matter that they are watching your naked depravity? Do you pray before you pray on innocence in this guilty world? Do you have your God's blessing? Or are you as godless as you seem? Did your father teach you to beat, demean, and maim? Is he proud of your cowardice? Does your mother say, well done, son? Did they train you in backwardness? Do you feel bigger in your smallness, content with acts of uselessness? Is your inner bully seething still beneath your concealed surface? Are you comforted in your criminality, stupefied by superiority, simply insane or lost? Who are you? That poem has just been translated into Chinese this week. So for those of you who understand and read Chinese, look out for it. Another translation by Chung Yu. And I'm going to conclude with a poem that's about the impact of art and culture in surviving all this shit. It's in my 3rd book, The Armageddon of Funk, and it's called Hallucinating at the Velvet Lounge. I like reading this poem. It's dedicated to a amazing trumpet player, Malachi Thompson, who has passed away. When Malachi blew his horn, I dreamed of cornbread, yellow mounds with burnt edges on the velvet's culinary altar. His sharp cut riffs morphed into squares of cornbread islands, floating in streams of warm butter, clinging to the ribs of my memory, speaking in trumpet tongues of passages and uprisings, ancient pain and good times jiving, sacred beats and blues timing, drive-by crying and signifying, an opiate inside of oppression. A cratered chunk of bacon-infused sweet potato, chicken smothered, maple pecan, custard-filled, smackling, crackling, jalapeno-inflamed cornbread, The crepe of the slaves now sold at Whole Foods in this jazz-drenched town built of golden bricks and smokestacks, billowing fumes of corn on the cob and catfish, my mind lost in music and metaphysics, reminiscing the Sunday manna served beside my mother's succotash. Thank you. Hey.
Please keep it going for Michael War. Michael War. I'm so thrilled he could be. Sorry, I keep pronouncing Michael War. I don't know why I'm Michael War. Like war. What does it get first? Sorry, I'm having a moment. Anyway, please keep it going for Michael War. I'm so thrilled he could be here. This book is incredible. You should all get it. It is so freaking good. It's got a bunch of amazing poets from, mostly living poets in it, and I'm just so thrilled. And so next up, we're so lucky to have one of my favorite poets, Jessie Randall, who does these amazing diagram poems. I think she's going to share some of them with us. And Jessie Randall's poems, comics, and other things have appeared in Asimov's science fiction, McSweeney's poetry, and the Best American Experimental Writing. Her collection of poems, A Day in Boyland, was a finalist for the Colorado Book Award. Her other books include The Wandora Unit, which is a young adult novel about love and friendship in high school, Interruptions, Injecting Dreams into Cows, There Was an Old Woman, Suicide Hotline Hold Music, and How to Tell If You Are Human, which is a book of diagram poems. And she is a librarian at Colorado College. Please give it up for Jessie Randall.
Hi, thank you so much, Charlie, for having me. And it's an honor to be part of this with the rest of you. What I'm going to do, I hope, is show some image poems. They're all made, or many of them are made from books, old library books. So in that way, this connects with supporting San Francisco bookstores. Let's see, it looks like, yes, I'm just about to be able to do this. So here we go. Except not that, of course. Oh no, what? Please tell me I didn't just do that. Oh no, I did. I just shut my entire browser, didn't I? So all the links I had lined up are gone. All right, well then we're just gonna do some,
You can just hit reopen, close tabs, and it'll just reopen all of them.
where can I do that?
Which browser is it? Oh no.
It's Chrome, and I just closed the entire thing. I don't think there's any way to get them back.
The three dots on the right side, maybe, under history, just go reopen, close tabs.
God, thank you.
You know, it's not a poetry reading without a tech support, you know.
Oh my
Let's
God.
go to history and say recently closed.
Charlie James, you're my hero.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
All right, here we
It's
go.
not a poetry reading.
49, I'm gonna be done by 6:55. Here we go. What is the definition of a demagogue? You're all seeing this, right? The image?
No.
The maze?
No,
Oh,
you have to share screen again.
do it again. Oh, thank you, Charlie. Jane, you are my hero. Here we go. Share. Okay, now you see it?
Yes.
Good. All right. Here's a maze that answers the question, what's the definition of a demagogue? And if you make it through the maze, which is actually not possible to do, you will get to, I'm not allowed to tell you. Here we have an airplane dragging a banner behind it. This is from a series of poems, comics like this. This one says, what if you quit being a jerk? I would like that airplane to go through the sky for me sometimes. All right, this one is not showing the one I wanted it to. There it is. Here we have two balloons from people speaking. The first person says, I'm not a feminist, but, and the second person says, ah! This one is a video of a visual poem I did with Jackie Baby. I don't know if you're gonna get the sound effects or not. Here we have the 6-square puzzle. Be yourself, but not too much. Here we have a visual poem that shows you what happens in a meeting. In a meeting, you have the presentation and the discussion. And here's what's happening inside the brain of the person. Why did I wear this? I'm hungry. I must tell Amy about a book, Mosquito Bite. I'm fat. Sex, my first boyfriend. If I still lived in New York, would I have more friends? How old am I again? Last night's dream, I should floss more. If I get home by 5:15, I should have time to do a load of laundry. The interior plan of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Itches, various mistakes and embarrassments. I wonder what her life is like outside of work. Doodling. Did I lock my bike? How many days are until my trip? Grocery shopping, what to make for dinner. We shouldn't always have dessert. When I was the age of my daughter, my mother was 5 years younger than I am right now. This visual poem shows you the a museum map with the original labels removed, and instead we have new labels put in. Boring, 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 boring. Oh, a good place to make out. It's down there in the corner. This is the test to find out if you are human. It's a 4-part test that's been developed by experts. How to tell if you are human, Roman numeral 1. When walking down the street, if you think you recognize a high school friend, but then you realize the person is a teenager, whereas you are almost 40 years old. Roman numeral number 2, this test has not yet been developed. Roman numeral 3, when you're stopped at a red light and you see a buck with large antlers, do you immediately point it out to anyone in the vicinity? This is a test to find out if you're human. The test number 4, however, was a catastrophic failure and could not be repeated. This is my most famous visual poem, if I have one. It only consists of 3 words, Disaster Plan 1967. Why Poetry Magazine thought that was, this is a big mystery to me. I share it with you so you can enjoy it. Okay, here we have a chart that shows the results. We have 12.9% saying frequently, 42% saying sometimes, et cetera, et cetera. The question for this chart was, do you ever sing a song to yourself in your car and you stop at a red light and your windows are down and you glance over and the person next to you has her window down and you wonder if she's listening to the same station on the radio? And if she is she singing along, and are you doing a duet without knowing it? Will she smile at you and think this is amazing? Or will she ignore you because she thinks she's a better singer? Maybe she's in a band and she's going to pull over at the side of the road up ahead. And the next thing you know, you'll be singing back up in a band with her, wearing similar but not identical black dresses. I wonder which one of you will get the sexier black dress. And then you'll have an argument. And then the whole band will break up, all because of your vanity. And again, the results we have here are 12.9% experience this frequently, 31.8% seldom, and so on. Good, useful chart. Here we have the wrong page of the book. And I'm just once again grateful that I was able to reopen my tabs. We'll just forget that one, it's not gonna show. And here we have one that makes me so happy, and right now we need this, I think. Oh man, the smell of a black Sharpie. That will heal you. Okay, here we have a menopause one. We have a cartoon. We have me and my period having that conversation. Me, period, you're supposed to come every 28 days. My period says, yeah, yeah, nah, yeah. I say, or at least every 21 to 35 days to be considered normal. And my period says, I do what I want. And I say, are you saying that I am premenopausal at the age of only 44? And my period says, noogie foogie bloogie foo foo yaha! Okay, we have 2 more. This one is made from doodle that my husband did one time while he was in a meeting, I believe. And I added the words, because it's beautiful, that's why. And I am taking doodles. If you have doodles and you want to send them to me, please do. I would love to make them into poems like this one. And then my final visual poem for you all are these jellyfish who are saying, I exist, so do I, okay, good, that's settled. Thank you very much. And now I'm gonna hand back the hostship. So I have to.
Yay! Please give it up for Jesse Randall. Oh my God!
I have
Jesse
to
Randall,
go.
my hero. Yay! Okay, just
And
you
then
just
I
have to make Alia the
go.
host. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna introduce our next poet. So we're still trying to get Alejandro Morguia. Sorry, I'm having a really hard time pronouncing anything tonight because my brain has apparently turned to mush in quarantine. We're still trying to get Alejandro Morguia to join us, but in the meantime, we have one of my favorite humans on the entire planet, the luminous, the incredible Baruch Porras Hernandez. And I'm just going to tell you about him while he's being unmuted, hopefully.
Oh yeah, how do I give you back the host?
Oh gosh, just right click where it says next to Alia and say, it says make host, Jesse.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So meanwhile, I'm just going to tell you about Baruch. Baruch Porras Hernandez is a San Francisco writer, stand-up comedian, illustrator, super genius, man about town, author of the small poetry collections I Miss You, Delicate, and Lovers of the Deep Fried Circle, both from Sibling Rivalry Press. His incredible solo show, Love in the Time of Piñatas, got a clapping ban from the SF Chronicle. That's a real thing that means a lot. And it led to the Baruchador donut that Dynamo Donuts named after him just sold out houses at Epic Party Theater back in December 2019. That show saved my freaking life. He is the creator of the Tiny Baruch online comic and touring show, and you can follow Tiny Baruch's adventures on Instagram. He is a 2-time winner of Literary Deathmatch. He did not die. He has performed poetry and comedy all over North America, from dive bars to fancy theaters to sexual health clinics. This is true. A cave. He has read poetry in a cave, and even SF Sketchfest. Please give all of your love to my hero, Baruch Porras Hernandez.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. And all my love and hugs to Charlie Jane Anders. Charlie is one of my favorite writers, people, organizers, performers, people who regularly have pink hair. She is amazing. Thank you for having everybody. That one time I performed in a cave was because I was in this really cool show with a Quiet Lightning. So I think I see Evan Karp in the little boxes here. So thank you so much for having me in Quiet Lightning, Evan. Because that was a really cool show. We were like in a cave. I had to read with like a flashlight. I think I got my butt pinched a couple times. It was great. Just kidding, nobody pinched my butt. Although I wanted people to pinch my butt. Okay, I'm gonna time myself so that I don't go over time, starting now. All right, first poem is from this book. It is titled Lovers of the Deep, oh no, it's the book's titled Lovers of the Deep Fried Circle, but the poem is titled Resting Gently on Her Unibrow. Oh, excuse me. She had several self-portraits in which she painted an object on her forehead. If it was an image of her husband, it would be titled Thinking of Diego. If it was a small image of a skull on her forehead, it would be titled, Thinking of Death. Oh, Frida, if only I could live as a small image on your forehead, resting gently on your unibrow like this, with a small image on my forehead of a donut. The painting would be titled, Frida Kahlo, thinking of Baruch Porras Hernandez, thinking of a donut. And on top of the donut, where its donut forehead would be, between the sprinkles, another painting of Frida Kahlo. And on her forehead, another painting of me. And on my forehead, another painting of a donut. And so on, and so on, and forever, and forever, and forever, and forever. The end. Can people hear me okay? Am I, like, can y'all hear me and everything? Yes? Am I highlighted? Am I pinned? Can people see my face? Good. All right. My next poem is titled Pit. Here we go. Hold on. I think I need to adjust something because I can't see myself. Oh, well, here we go. Here's my next poem. It is titled Pit. The boy walked his younger brother into the forest. He was horrified by what he wanted to do. Still, he collected plums, the ones that fall from trees in the Berkeley Hills where rich gringos live on their way up. Still, he smashed each plum against his younger brother's clean white shirt over and over and over until it bruised the small chest. Hands formed into pits, sinking into the black, purples, reds, and reds. It didn't work. He came back, the little brother, with the boy down the hill, leaving magenta footprints on the soft gray sidewalks of Albany. At home, the boy and his little brother eat dinner in front of the family's small white television. No sacrifice could save them. The mother slowly cuts a fig in two, places it into the father's mouth. The end. Okay, next poem is titled San Francisco, a Portrait. My friend Nicole's Facebook status asked, you guys, what is your most San Francisco moment? I want to know one thing you hate and one thing you love about this wonderful city. Everyone, please tell me your most San Francisco moment. Now, everybody started commenting on this Facebook status. Some people were like, I love the cable cars. Some people were like, it's too expensive here, which it is. I thought to myself, what is my most San Francisco moment? I took a deep breath and started typing. This was my response. I once saw a pigeon dragging another pigeon with its chest ripped open, which was still alive and twitching, into a corner of an entryway to a bank. The stronger pigeon continued to peck at and eat the still living bloody pigeon on the ground. It stopped eating when it noticed me, looked up at me with a bloody little beak, made eye contact and said, real hard to find a cheap place to eat in the city nowadays, huh? And then it said, there is no God. There is no God, Baruch. There is no God. There is no God. There is no God. Love and pain don't matter because there is no God. And then I tripped on a scooter. The end. My next poem is titled One Star. Oh, this one's new. It's kind of a new poem. Well, new-ish. Anywho, here we go. It's one star. There needs to be a button at the end of the Lyft ride you can press if your Lyft driver tries to talk to you way too much about Jesus, even if you ask him not to. There needs to be this button so you can press it and get all of your fucking money back. Because Lyft is not a place to convert people, especially when you ask them to please stop trying to convert you. The next time a Lyft driver tries to talk to me too intensely about Jesus, I'm gonna stop them right there and say, okay, but sir, have you accepted the love of sucking dick into your heart? It'll change your life. The next time I'm stuck in a Lyft on a freeway ramp in traffic with some intense asshole that won't stop talking to me about the Bible and how it connects them to their fellow man, even though I've asked very politely, sir, please stop talking to me about the Bible, I'm just gonna say, okay, but sir, have you ever put a man's balls right on your tongue and let them sit there, gingerly?
Did we lose Baruch?
Trying to change the subject. There's no changing the subject. Why are you trying to change the subject? I'm not stuck in this Lyft right here with you. You're stuck in this Lyft right here with me. And until we reach my destination, we are talking about balls. The end. And I think my internet crapped out during that poem. Did it?
Yeah, a little bit.
I have no idea. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna keep going. But can you all hear me right now? I think my computer keeps freezing. Okay, great. I'm gonna keep going. So my last piece is brand new. So please forgive me if it sucks. If it doesn't suck, that was intentional. I'm a brilliant writer. Just kidding, I'm not. Here we go. My new piece is currently untitled. There is a lot of things I miss and that I have missed during shelter in place. The hug of a friend, the hug of my mother, the hug from my brother. But I have not missed anything as much as I have missed sex! Oh my God, I miss sex so much. It's been so long that the other day, before putting a donut in my mouth, I spanked myself just a little to remember what it's like to be wanted. It's been so long that the other day I was staring at my lamp and I was like, damn, lamp, you're looking so tall and sexy and quiet over there. You're just there, being quiet, lighting up my life. And I ask myself, oh my God, am I gonna fuck this lamp? It's been so long that when I watch porn now, and you know what misses the mouth and lands on the chin or the chest or the forehead or God forbid the floor, I start screaming, no, don't waste it. Why did I ever take so much of it for granted? And then I take a chubby fist in the air and I say, as God is my witness, I will never waste jizz again. It's been so long that I have been going to town hall meetings to be a part of my community. And at this one town meeting, there was an important city official, and they were saying, and so when we begin to reopen to go back to normal, our plan for public spaces and restaurants will be like this. And I just had to interrupt and ask my question, when can we fuck again? The important city official was like, what? And I was like, when can we fuck again? The important city official was like, excuse me? The touching of the butts. When can we touch butts? Mayor Breed came on the mic and was like, excuse me, sir, who are you? How did you get in here? And I was like, butts! Mayor Breed was like, get that fat hairy man out of here. And a security guard came over and grabbed me. And I was like, oh, yes, daddy, because it's been so long since I've been touched. And as he was pulling me out of that room, I whispered in his ear, hello, Mr. Security Guard. My safe word is Corona. The end. And I guess that's my time, everybody. Thank you so much for having me.
Yay! Please keep it going for Baruch Porras Hernandez. He is so amazing. Thank you. Please keep it going for Baruch. And we're so lucky. Thank goodness, finally, Alejandro Murguia has been able to join us via phone. I'm just so glad that he could be here. We had some technical difficulties, but he's here now. Alejandro Murguia is the author of Southern Front and This War Called Love, which were both winners of the American Book Award. His nonfiction book, The Medicine of Memory, highlights the Mission District in the 1970s during the Nicaraguan Solidarity Movement. He is a founding member and the first director of the Mission Cultural Center. He was a founder of the Roque Dalton Cultural Brigade and co-editor of Volcan, Poetry from Central America. Currently, he is a professor in Latina Studies at San Francisco State University. He is the author of the short story, The Other Barrio, which first appeared in the anthology San Francisco Noir. Poetry has also published spare poems, and this year a new collection, Native Tongue. He is the 6th San Francisco Poet Laureate. That's right, we've had 2 poet laureates tonight, and the first Latino poet to hold that position. Please, please, please give it up for Alejandro Murguia.
Hey, thank you so much for that introduction, Charlie Jane. It's a real pleasure to follow Baruch, who's also an old colleague of mine that we have conspired so many times with. And so I send a greeting to all of you, wherever you're located. I'm presently on the run from all government agencies, and so I cannot reveal my exact location. But I am somewhere in California. And from this location, I will read you a poem if you will give me the the courtesy of listening to, after that long introduction. You know, I'm not sure if I should read any more poems. That introduction is kind of, anyway. Here's the poem. Actually, I just published it also with Ishmael Reed in Conch, Konch, his online magazine, and he just came out with an issue on the current COVID-19 pandemic that we are suffering. And it seems to me that here in the United States, with all the chaos and pandemic and economic destruction and destruction of the environment that's going on, the only thing that seems to be missing is a plague of locusts. So hopefully that will not happen, but we also seem to be in biblical times. So I'll offer this poem to all of us, in a way, that we survive the scourge that we're living through. And as a side note, I would highly recommend Daniel Defoe's book, A Journal of the Plague Year, which recounts the bubonic plague in London back in the 1600s, but perhaps a good reference historically for us during these times. So here goes the poem. 19 lines under quarantine. 300 times smaller than the thickness of a human hair. So tiny, yet so deadly. Can be seen, but not understood. A crown of spikes tearing through lungs, heart, senses. Sometimes asymptomatic. Sick, but not showing it. Is it really a threat or a mirage of our collective insecurity? Chaos, confusion, misinformation, misdirection, invented in a Chinese lab to destroy the West, created by Bill Gates to rule over us. The bland deletion of scientific insight. The economy of ignorance must open now. Deliverance from the unknown cannot wait for facts. The exalted leader shepherds the masses to television insanity. Maybe hydroxychloroquine can cure ignorance, but it's doubtful. Facing the infinite darkness, poetry unleashes hope. Empathy plus science, science plus empathy. Like my abuelita would say, there's no bad thing from which something good does not come. So thank you all very much for participating in this great event. And thank you all, Evan and Charlie Jane and Alia and all of you for putting this together. And I am very happy to be a part of it. And I will now sign off and wander off into the sunset. And thank you all very much.
Yay! Please keep it going for Alejandro Murguia. I'm so glad he could be here tonight. I'm glad we got our technical difficulties resolved. Oh my God. That was amazing. And yeah, so we've got 2 poets left. I'm so freaking thrilled. Next up, we've got Amber Tamblyn. Oh my God. Amber Tamblyn is an Emmy, Golden Globe, and Independent Spirit Award-nominated actress, writer, and director. And the author of 6 books, including the critically acclaimed bestsellers, Era of Ignition, Coming of Age in a Time of Rage and Revolution, Dark, Sparkler, and Any Man. Amber Tamblyn is a poet in residence at Amy Poehler's Smart Girls and reviews books of poetry by women with an X, for Bust Magazine. She is a contributing writer for the New York Times and New York Magazine's The Cut, and a founding member of the Time's Up organization. Please, please, please give a warm welcome to Amber Tamblyn. Woo!
Wow, that's great.
Thank you so much, Charlie, for this. And I just have to say, what a joy it is to be with poets, and not just any poets, but people who love and understand the Bay Area poets. Michael Ward, I was moved to tears by your poems. They were so beautiful and powerful. Thank you. And all of your work. And I also see my dear, lovely friend, Steph Burt, who I'm like gonna fucking cry because I love her so much and I miss her. And yeah, I see you, baby. So I'm gonna read you just a couple poems that I feel like are good for this moment. Thank you all for being here and sharing your beautiful, beautiful work, all of you. This first piece that I am going to read is called This Living. It's going to be a lunar eclipse. It's going to be critically acclaimed and win none of the awards. It's going to start as an argument over what's buried inside the tomb, but end in silence over what's discovered beneath it. It's going to happen on your birthday in front of the mailman while you're receiving the letter for your sister sent by her murderer. It's going to appear once a week in your backyard for decades without ever speaking. It's going to ruin the cake when you throw an urn full of cat ashes in your ex-best friend's face at her baby shower. It's going to make you get under the table and drink there. It's going to explode right there in the dairy aisle. It's going to make you laugh. It's going to remind you why you can't go in mosh pits anymore. It's going to freeze to death right there in your arms. It's going to make all the kids stare out the school bus window and sing to you. It's going to rain where he is. It's going to be impossible not to flood. It's going to hurt for a while. It's going to have to. It's going to make you buy all the scarves in his girlfriend's favorite patterns. It's going to happen in the wind during the middle of fire season while he's telling you it's going to have to end soon. It's going to be hard to end soon. It's going to outlast television. It's going to wipe out your entire wildlife. It's going to be remembered fondly, your heart unable to keep its hands to itself. It's going to be a lot, but never enough. It's going to be a strong love, but only parallel his lover, never perpendicular her. It's going to affect the whole neighborhood inside of you. It's going to make you unable to quell the bad thoughts of his dainty gull and her inkless quill. It's going to bring out the best of the worst in you. It's going to hurt him, what you can write about her. It's going to hurt what you write, what you'll leave out about her for him. It's going to take the shape of poems left under the doormats of retired generals. It's going to happen any day now. It's going to be so good if it doesn't kill us first. With the way things are going, it's probably going to kill us first. It's going to be a nightmare when the Pope gets here. It's going to change everything. It's going to make your metaphors make you, even if you don't want to. It's going to sound like coyotes killing behind your back. It's going to ride like a horse's ghost. It's going to cost you. It's going to sound familiar, a truck driver humming Schubert. It's going to have to be removed by a doctor. It's going to go in the wrong direction. It's going to go into too much detail. It's going to use your daughter against you. It's going to make you eat everything on all the plates at all the hours. It's going to fill you with sorrow. It's going to fill you with relief. It's going to show you how you got here. It's going to say something cliche like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to hit any minute now, and it's going to leave you speechless. It's something you're going to have to carry for the rest of your life. It's going to get dark soon. It's going to feel like it just happened yesterday. It's going to sit well with no one. It's going to be worth it. It's going to build you back up. It's going to get better every day. It's never going to give up. It's going to have your name on it. This living, it's going to belong to you. And this is a poem called To a New Dawning that I just wrote recently. It was published with the Academy of American Poets, which we're doing a series for sort of folks in isolation. So this is for New York, for our New York cities, and for everyone there in San Francisco too. Jack Hirschman is my writing mentor, one of two of my writing mentors. And he's publishing this in his Revolutionary Poets Brigade. So shout out to my sweet, sweet Jack. To a New Dawning. From sun's first shine, we walk all day through a dream surreal. Our minds wander a new world from inside windowsills. We go to bed half asleep, eyes defiant for the crave of news feed, quenching our dread on the bad blood of blue light not sent from the moon. We are devastate aching. This can't be happening. A nation stationed inside the nightmare of a leader unfit for awakening. We grieve in solitary solidarity for our country, our New York cities, their subways riding ghosted through the choking channels of our lungs, those throats that have known I can't breathe far before our collective chests could not. We grieve for every building of our boroughs, from Section 8 to the unfinished skyscraper's crane. Buildings busting with bodies or abandoned by them, bodies that dance, bodies that sleep, bodies that virtual meet, eat, and drink, bodies that cease. We grieve the gravity of having to die alone in a city built on never having to be. We grieve the gravity of having to die alone in a city built on never having to be. And though our bridges are orphaned arches, left to hold up the sky's condolences, they still do connect us. They still do connect us. Connect us to the cabin-fevered daughters watching over high-fevered grandfathers. Connect us to the warrior first responders, nurses, and exhausted doctors, the recovering sick finally taking off ventilators. Connect us to the maskless, the homeless, the hopeless, the jobless, our locals, bars, bodegas, and bathhouses, our silent Brooklyn streets, empty as ancient desert streams, holding only the echoes of ambulance screams. Connect us to the cherry blossoms standing guard in full blush while cops bloom ribbons of yellow tape at their gates. Us connected, the airborne whispers between walk-ups of missed rhythm, longing for the public pull of prior swagger. Us connected by the daydream of lawless rush hour taxis rubbing up against each other's paint, kissing the ears of each other's rear views. Us yearning for the crowded irritants of sweltering avenues budding with beech trees and brisk walkers. Us missing the middle fingers of strangers, the playlists of basketball courts and schoolyard sabotage, the lists, the lights bright over Broadway, lights low in the Bowery, lights out at the Chelsea where Sid did in Nancy. Us singing love poems to neighbors over balconies from the soapbox of apartment steps, a Cyrano of stoops, connected by the density of front doors, the clanging of steam hammer pipes running through our floors like the floating notes of festival encores. Us dreaming, still dreamers, We are still dreamers. We are still dreamers. For every future hand we'll shake, dap, and hold. How we will hold you. Oh, how we will hold you, our eyes lifting from the drift, breaking open free to a new dawning. Wake up, see how we hold you, New York cities, how we hold you, never letting go. Thank you, and I'm gonna just close with a short poem. I think it's my favorite poem. If I believed in tattooing words to the body, it would be all over me, but instead it's just a poem that I love, and it's by Jack Hirschman, who is one of your prior poet laureates, so I'll call him into the room tonight. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you, Charlie, for having me. This is a poem called Path by Jack Hirschman. Go to your broken heart. If you think you don't have one, get one. To get one, be sincere. Learn sincerity of intent by letting life enter because you're helpless, really, to do otherwise. Even as you try escaping, let it take you and tear you open like a letter sent, like a sentence inside you've waited for all your life, though you've committed nothing. Let it send you up. Let it break you, heart. Brokenheartedness is the beginning of all real reception. The ear of humility hears beyond the gates. See the gates opening. Feel your hands going akimbo on your hips, your mouth opening like a womb, giving birth to your voice for the first time. Go singing, whirling into the glory of being ecstatically simple. Write the poem. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, please keep it going for Amber Tamberlin. We're so incredibly thrilled and lucky that she could be here. This was so fucking amazing. Thank you for joining us. I'm so glad you could be here. Our final poet tonight, I'm so just thrilled, is one of my favorite people whose poems have meant so much to me over the years. Stephanie Burt is a poet, literary critic, and professor with 8 published books, including 2 critical books on poetry and 3 poetry collections. Her essay collection, Close Calls with Nonsense, was a finalist for the National Books Critics Circle. Her next poetry collection is Advice from the Lights poems. Her other works include Don't Read Poetry, The Poem Is You, 60 Contemporary American Poems and How to Read Them, The Art of the Sonnet, Something Understood Essays in Poetry for Helen Wendler, The Forms of Youth, Adolescence, and 20th Century Poetry, Parallel Play Poetry, and Randall Jarrell on W.H. Auden, and Popular Music. Please, please, please give a super warm welcome to my hero, Stephanie Burt.
Oh, a couple of my heroes are on this. Am I audible? Are things good? Okay, what an honor it is to be here with everybody, and to come right next to Amber with those poems. Wow. So the newest book is actually a book called After Callimachus, and they're all adaptations and translations of this African, Mediterranean, multicultural poet of classical antiquity who was born in Libya and wrote in ancient Alexandria. I'm going to read a couple of those. And then for this audience, I guess some new ones. Sound good? Yeah? Okay. Callimachus, Atia, Book 4, Fragment 90. The way a word like sanction or inflammable and its opposite are the same, our town feels like 2 towns, or maybe 3. One where we welcome strangers, where they feel able to call it home, and one where we throw the foreigners into the sea. Atia, Book 4, Fragment 104. Dear Thracians, no, dear citizens of Thrace, you've got blood on your hands. Sooner or later, justice or vengeance or something will take care of you, just as you took care of the people who used to live on what you call your lands. Telemachus was a political poet in addition to a sex poet and a poet of repartee and many other things. Epigram 34. For the sake of Laura Jane Grace and all the graces, Mona, don't tell me how broke I am. I am quite aware of it. That's almost as rude as telling someone her own dream, as pointless as spelling out pi to 12 decimal places. If you're really worried, you could always buy me some food or find me appropriate work so I could take care of it. Atia Fragment 115, on the gods of Samothrace. There are more than two, and they work in secret, where winters are cages of ice and summer a gauntlet of heat. They do not live on Olympus, but have learned from Hephaestus how to make a shield that can last forever out of a man-sized sheet of iron and opalescent helical bracelets out of a rainbow and a meteorite. They're the allies of refugees and of shapeshifters, and can easily pummel those who would threaten their companions, whether with fists or red-hot hammers, but they would much rather fashion more of their favorite things than fight. Hecale, Fragment 298. The God who made us such that whenever you or anybody laugh, someone is probably crying. Someone got hurt. If the foreground is joy, the background is always sad. I admit it's not much, but it's something to say on that poor God's behalf. Look what he had to work with. Look what we came from, water and dirt. So, well, I don't know. So much energy in this room tonight. So many just terrific writers with so many different kinds of energy, representing so many things I wish I could do and can't do. A couple more short new ones, if that makes sense. And then Charlie Jane can wave us all out. Okay, since other people are trying brand new ones. Remember back when there was air travel? That was weird. To a TSA agent at Memphis International Airport. I understand you don't know my name. I would no more avoid you than jump a New York City turnstile or steal. Imagine being hired to feel people up, to confirm I'm a woman the same way you are, except not, with one press of your powder blue nitrile-covered palm and the back of your I won't flinch if you don't flinch gloved hand. It's all part of the job. It was never about you. Your badge could be a platinum watch fob. I explained myself twice over to you and to your supervisor, who looks at me and waves me through. Don't know if that's finished. I think it is. Geysers. Like photographs of tailings in Montana turning cobalt blue in mining pools. No, this is something the earth did to itself. Catastrophe beauty, sublimity, condensation. Diminutive bubbles whose source no one can see. They are the springs of human action, pure until we get up close or try, but we can't, to see them from above, sometimes surrounded or obscured by experts, thick rounded recent fences and milled steel, so we can view them safely now. In the adjacent dissonance of the hot puddles, effervescence rules. Forever new, forever ephemeral, mud pool eyes and eye stalks communicate incessantly with each other, a language with no spoken or written form. Do they know they won't last? Do they think they're failing? Would it be better for us to have no feelings? And I think one more. One more or two more? One more.
I don't know.
What?
I mean, if they're two more, if they're short, I think. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you're so wonderful, and I'm so glad. I haven't heard you read in forever, so you know. Yeah, two more. Yeah.
Okay, two more. So brand new one that's a test drive, and then one that I think what is going wrong here. I think might be finished. So this is another kind of. Do you remember when people went places? The title of this poem is the name of the last place you went on vacation, or else the last place you wished you could go on vacation. A girl named America walks out to the beach. Maybe it's Point Pleasant, the Jersey Shore, sees tiny, comfortable clams' necks sputter over otherwise flat sand. She gets her palms dirty and wet, builds pyramids, builds battlements, crenellated 5-inch widow's walks with her enthusiastic blue plastic trowel, discards her towel and ambles down to the line always drawn in the sand by the tide, but flatter than it used to be. The sea recedes, accelerates, as if everything foreign decided it had to leave, and the land brought low were saying, come back, encouraging foam, why run? There ought to be wings on her shoulder blades by now. The afternoon sun throws its own party way up there, distinct from the loud tent in the middle distance, still under her feet, also waiting, the knife-like whelks. The sunscreen smells like gasoline, but clean. And finally, I'm playing with this one, and this seems like a poem. This seems like it's really recent, but it's actually came from the future, so started a while ago. Turkeys in Harvard Yard. They don't belong, but who does? Maybe their plan is to burn the whole place down. Look at them directing the few pedestrians, overruling stoplights. They have come to see one another as heroes of distributive justice, travelers from a pre-Columbian dawn. Their ruffs rise up. Their collars make good fans. Their wattle-strewn beaks the vehicles for once presumed impossible demands. They remember when everything was icicles, expensive gutters stacked with snow, their toes on crusted ice, the only sound. Now, they're our anti-fascists. While we were limp in our beds, sleep crusting our narrow lashes, they had already taken control of the town. And I just realized while reading that, where that poem really comes from with its time-traveling anti-fascists who want to seize control of our institutions from people who have mismanaged them. It is absolutely, and I swear I didn't realize this till 5 minutes ago, a poem based on Anna Lee's recent novel, if they're still around. Anna Lee, you're still around?
Oh my God.
It's a source. I've also, our other cat would not want this, but he doesn't mind. Here for everybody. Very, very attentive reader. This is Snowbar. This is Snowbar, who just really enjoys poetry readings. And I'm going to hit show self-view so I make sure that you're all getting the sense of Snowbar. Okay.
Yay.
Say good night to the beautiful poets.
Yay. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you. Thank you. This has been Poetry Cocktail Hour. It's part of the We Love Bookstores series, which thus far has raised $50,000 plus for local bookstores. And I'm just so thrilled that you could all be here tonight. Please give it up one more time for Amber Tamblin, Deborah Major, Alejandro Murguia, Stephanie Burt, Jack Foley and Sang Land, Michael War, Nazila Jamison, Baruch Porras Hernandez, and Jesse Randall. Thank you so much. Just very quickly, we have 2 more events coming up this coming week. On Wednesday, June 17th, we have Armistead Maupin, author of the Tales of the City books, and the incredible superstar Alia Volz, who's been helping with tonight's event, who is the author of a memoir called Home Baked about her mother's marijuana brownie business. The two of them are going to be in conversation on Wednesday, June 17th, and then Friday, June 19th, we've got an event at noon of trans and non-binary writers, including Vivek Shraya, Alok, Jennifer Finney Boylan, Meredith Talusan, and Cyrus Grace Dunham. It's going to be so freaking good. I hope you can all be there on Friday the 19th. All of our events are at welovebookstores.org. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful Friday night and an amazing weekend. And thank you for supporting bookstores. Bye. Everybody, let's unmute everybody so they can all say goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Charlie. That was great.
Thank you. It was great. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Charlie James.
Thank you, Charlie James.
Awesome.
You know that guy, Baruch? He applied for the first Friends,
no,
where you can become an artist in residence. And I really like this stuff. I already knew this stuff.